will know this if you are a long-time watcher of What Culture Wrestling, but if you're not, let me catch you up to speed. I love Rusev. And this is me doing a heart shape with my hand. One of the most interesting and intriguing characters to crop up in a long time. Obviously, my major reason for my adoration is because of Rusev Day, a day that is the greatest day in the history of mankind. But on top of that, not only was there this guy who could be treated like an animal, be treated like a monster, but also proved that he had the performer's chops to do a bit of comedy, and on social media at least, be an absolute laugh riot. Like, if you don't follow him on Twitter or Instagram, change that today, and I promise you at least once, he will make you laugh. He's crazy in the best possible way. He also proved that he can make lemons out of lemonade. I mean, just look at that angle with Summer Rae, Lana, and Dolph Ziggler. And at that point, I closed the book on Ruru, and I was like, this is going to be my guy. And at least for a little while, WWE clearly agreed. This did seem to be the plan at one point, and then it all came crumbling down. And given Rusev's recent return to WWE TV, you have to say WWE dropped the ball with Rusev. Why? Here's why. The latest twist in this tale, according to some rumors, is that despite the fact Rusev came back to Monday Night Raw after Maria Kanellis has said, "Here's the father of my baby," well, he's not actually going to be the father of her baby. And I know, it hurts your brain and you just want to take your face and smash it into a wall, but we are going to have to see how all this is going to play out. And really, if you think back to that episode, Rusev never actually said that he was the daddy, neither did Maria. He just interrupted her and then went on to beat the crap out of Mike Kanellis. Until the moustache man gets on a microphone and actually announces, "Yes, I had sex with this woman and now she is impregnated with my child," you can come up with any scenario that you want, and it is WWE, so it could go in many directions. Within that one sentence, though, is the issue. This storyline is so ludicrous that nobody in the arena that night actually bought into it, hence why Ruru didn't get the big "oh my gosh, he's back" pop that 99 times out of 100 someone does when they've been away for as long as he has. Instead, they were just scratching their heads, wondering what the hell was going on, and that's because it is so unbelievable. No one actually thinks that Rusev slept with Mike's wife and put a baby in her belly, much like nobody believed that Jason Jordan was actually the secret child of Kurt Angle. I mean, it was happening in front of your eyes, but because we're all in on the trick in 2019, it's so easy to judge it from a more critical point of view, and then your body just says, well, in no way am I going to buy into this because I know it's a bunch of flubbins. And I get it, social media has ruined wrestling, but that is just the place we find ourselves in when it comes to modern wrestling, and it's up to promoters and it's up to bookers to work around that and still present us with something that we can go, ooh, I'm a little bit intrigued about this. It's on them, it's not on us. And in terms of Rusev specifically, it is another bizarre misstep for the Bulgarian Brute. Because if you go back to 2014 where he did debut in the Royal Rumble, you may recall it took 4 other wrestlers to get him out of there. And that is the kind of booking that is usually reserved for the likes of The Undertaker, usually reserved for the likes of Kane, The Big Show, Mark Henry, Braun Strowman. Basically guys that can't just be taken out by one other person because it would make them look too weak. In fact, when you do watch your next Royal Rumble, keep an eye out for these people because it gives you a little hint into what WWE plans to do with someone. After that, things went quiet, but the WWE machine soon got behind him and started to air a bunch of "Here He Comes" vignettes, voiced by his soon-to-be manager Lana, and when he did arrive on Raw in April, he absolutely mauled Zack Ryder. And yeah, I know, I probably could have mauled Zack Ryder 5 or so years ago, but that wasn't the point. Here was a guy that fans kind of liked and fans wanted to get behind, and the debuting newbie was allowed to eat him like he was a piece of fish. Even the anti-America pro-Russia gimmick wasn't enough to derail him, simply because he was so dominant in the ring. I mean, he went through so many feuds and he never lost. He beat Xavier Woods, he beat R-Truth, he beat Jack Swagger, he beat The Big Show, he beat Mark Henry, he beat Mark E. And even though WWE had to just do it, so Lana dedicated all these victories to Vladimir Putin, the character of Rusev was coming across so well, he was still able to be on an upward trend. And don't get me wrong, we still all were face-palming as WWE went back to their usual xenophobic rhetoric, but again, Rusev had something about him, and he managed to navigate these waters. It was at this time commentators were even given the green light to start saying he had an undefeated streak, and you can't ask for more than that. Again, we mentioned The Undertaker, we'll mention Goldberg, We won't mention Asuka's because that went the other way, but if you get an undefeated streak and then people start saying, oh, look at this guy, he's got an undefeated streak, and you're a fan, it's so easy to watch and go, well, he's like a threat, isn't he? He's dominant, he doesn't lose. Then we hit our first hurdle. Happening in October, The Rock made a surprise appearance to Raw, and for some reason, he was allowed to verbally run down Lana and Rusev. By the time they got in the ring, that's right, the Great One sent the Bulgarian packing by beating him up. He had been unstoppable up to this point, but I still do understand it. The fans wanted to see Rusev get his, and everybody loves The Rock, and therefore it just made sense. But still, there's a little bit of signs of things to come. Events picked up in November when he won his first title on the main roster, and that was the US Championship by beating Sheamus. He then successfully defended it against Jack Swagger, and by the time the next Royal Rumble came around, he was smashing it once again. He got in there and he threw 6 people out. Hell, despite that event being showered in controversy, because it is where everything when Roman Reigns started to fall apart at the seams, guess who was the second person left in there with the big dog? That's right, it was Rusev. And in fact, he was so over, fans were cheering, please let Rusev win. And again, that could be tying into the Roman Reigns thing, but I don't care. Back then, everybody in the damn arena was like, we want Rusev, who's meant to be a heel, to win the Royal Rumble. Now, it didn't happen, and the wheels fell off. While Rusev would defend his title at Fastlane against John Cena, he was only able to beat him by slamming him right in the dick and then getting him to pass out via the accolade. And again, that was a great visual, but never forget, John Cena never actually quit, he never gave up. The ref just saw his eyes closed and went, I'm stopping the match. And then when we did get to the big bout at WrestleMania 31, it was of course Big Match John that lived up to his name and ended Rusev's 146-day reign as the United States Champion. It gave him his first pinfall loss on the main roster, and if we had stuck to our guns, we may have been able to do something with the man, and remembered that at this version of WrestleMania, he came out on a damn tank. I still can't get my head around why that isn't featured in every single pro WWE vignette/video ever. He came out in a tank. We went completely the opposite way though. Rusev got absolutely owned in a chain match at Extreme Rules, and because on that night Lana got loads of positive reactions and loads of cheers, it eventually got to the summer where, yes, we had that horrendous angle with Rusev, Lana, Summer Rae, and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, it did get us Rusev throwing fish at Lana, but still, if you haven't seen it, in fact, don't even go back and watch it. It's not worth your time. Just know it did not work. We then had the League of Nations that felt like a modern day job squad, and ever since, it's just been a case of stop-start pushes. I mean, take he and Lana to begin with. They have broken up and gotten back together more times than Generation X. I mean, try and think of a memorable feud since then, and you just can't. And I know he was given a second run with the United States Championship, but that always felt like he was just there to set somebody else up, which he was. That person was Roman Reigns, and he deprived him of his belt at Clash of Champions 2016. So it soon started to become clear that this may be Rusev's role. He was there to transition other people up the card as he kind of treaded water, and at no point was that proven more when Rusev Day was born. After he was legitimately given the key to the city of his hometown, which I think is pronounced Plovdiv, I probably got that wrong, so you'll have to forgive me, which was witnessed by Aiden English, Rusev declared this day to be Rusev Day, and that all other 364 days in the calendar were also Rusev Day. It was the right side of nonsense to be an absolute smash success in wrestling, which it was, because crowds around the country started to chant it. And you know what WWE did here? They still had him lose to Randy Orton a Hell in a Cell. That didn't end there because he started to lose constantly, and it became very clear that WWE did not want he, Aiden English and Lana, who collectively became a team called Rusev Day, to get over, even though, again, audiences would chant Rusev Day all the time. They didn't do it like this. This is like I'm trying to shave with my own fingers, which is never going to work. But it was just crazy. They were so over, and organically so, but we had to pull the rug out from underneath them. When he lost to AJ Styles at Extreme Rules in 2018 with the WWE title on the line, we thought something was up, and that was confirmed when again Rusev Day was shot in the head. Rusev then teamed with Shinsuke Nakamura in a tag team that went nowhere, before vanishing into the abyss. And yeah, once again, I get it. There would be loads of wrestlers that have just heard what I said and gone, well, I would have loved all those opportunities. I just have to do the opening match on Main Event each and every week, but that is not the point. Be it when John Cena did beat him at WrestleMania, or the arising of Rusev. It just feels like WWE never want to get behind him fully, and I don't understand. What else do you want him to do? And again, I can understand John Cena, of all people, being the guy to stop the foreign menace, because that is what WWE has done for years, but I cannot get my head around everybody being behind this whole idea that 365 days in a year should all be Rusev Day, cheering for that and selling t-shirts, selling merchandise, selling calendars that actually just have Rusev Day, Rusev Day, Rusev Day, Rusev Day on every single day of the week, and yet powers that be go, well, it's not exactly what we were going for, and while he is getting more popular, we'd rather somebody else got more popular, so let's just nix it. That just blows my mind, especially because I love Rusev. And as for today, I don't even know. If you had told me this is how he was going to return, I would have called you a liar. And no, I don't think that Rusev is going to turn out to be the dad for real, unless it's like a weird situation where Rusev and Lana are the parents, but Maria is the surrogate. But if that does happen, once again, I'm going to be looking around my room thinking, where the hell is Vince Russo? And on top of that, is that a narrative that WWE would put John Cena in? Would they put Roman Reigns in that storyline? Would they put Seth Rollins in that storyline? Would they put Braun Strowman in that storyline? Well, they probably would put Braun Strowman in it, and it would also feature a 10-year-old called Nicholas. But the point there is, Braun Strowman is absolutely massive. He's like 7 feet and weighs about 37 stone. And when you're massive and weigh 37 stone in wrestling, you can get away with murder. You're basically a walking get out of jail free card. People are always going to be impressed. What I'm trying to say is Rusev got moved from potential main eventer to solid mid-card guy to potential massive babyface to comedy dude, and I can't figure out how we got there. Also, right now, WWE is desperate for popular babyfaces, and we could have had that way back in 2017, and even if you want to flip it around, there's nothing wrong with having a guy that can get proper heel heat, and Rusev was getting proper heel heat until, again, we just stabbed him in the back with lies. It's no wonder that he stepped away when he did, and I worry that unless we do something drastically different soon, everybody is just gonna fall out again. Because what actually is the long-term benefit of being the dad to somebody else's kid? He's already beat Mike Kanellis, which would be the obvious feud. He's done, it's over. I guess I am just massively biased, but you always are when you're a fan, and I'm a fan of Mr. Rusev. I think he has a bunch of talent. I don't think that talent has ever been allowed to fly. Hence why, with everything I've just rambled on about, maybe WWE has dropped the ball with Rusev. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Rusev and how he's been used or how he could be used in the future. Does he end up in All Elite Wrestling? Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com and read yourself some articles, one of which is about this. Follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE, and watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you very much for tuning in. Why? Because I always appreciate it. Catchphrases.